Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I'm here with parts 3 and 4 of the Bookworm book haul. I paid 2 visits within the last few weeks to a favorite bookstore of mine in Surf City. Bookworm is just an amazing place. It has a great selection, and it has so many intriguing writers and intriguing books that you're not going to find in every bookstore. So it is quite a gem. I'm going to be doing parts 3 and 4 in the same video, but I'm going to round them up separately. So I'll begin with part 3 and then move on to part 4. Alrighty. Part 3 will be the first visit, and I paid a visit with my friend Brianna from Literary Gladiators. This is Brianna Little. Alrighty. First thing I picked up was What Dreams May Come by Richard Matheson. Richard Matheson is brilliant. He is a master in the speculative genres. He has hints of horror, science fiction, fantasy, and they read off a lot like an episode of The Twilight Zone, which he actually wrote for. But in this particular novel, it follows a man named Chris Nielsen who dies and is ready to make his way into heaven, but this means being separated from his wife and his love, Annie. And it explores that idea of, is life after death really an amazing thing when it means being separated from those that you truly love? And I'm really interested to see what this particular book has in store. Already. Next book that I picked up may be a little bit controversial, but I guess that's the path you gotta go down in order to be a well-rounded reader. I got American Original, The Life and Constitution of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia, the biography was written by Joan Biskupic, who is a Supreme Court historian. She follows the justices and, in an objective way, talks about their background, their decisions, and their tenure with the court, which I'm interested to see what this book has to offer, because the late Justice Scalia was a very colorful individual, to say the very least. Some of the things that he said were a bit controversial and in some ways very outdated, but that comes down to the belief as to whether or not you see the Constitution as a living, breathing document, or one that's meant to be interpreted the way that it was written. And Scalia interpreted the Constitution the way he felt the Constitution was meant to be interpreted. And whether or not you agree or disagree with him, that is a topic that's up for debate. And I'm interested to learn more about the man, his decisions, and why he made them accordingly. Next thing I got is a collection of poetry called No Matter the Wreckage, poems by Sarah Kay. Sarah Kay is a spoken word poet. She's younger, and she's only coming around right now within the last few years. She's known for being a part of TED Talks, but I'm interested to read what she's written and get a taste of the kind of poetry that she writes and what what spoken word poetry has to offer. Next thing I got was a pretty interesting piece. It's a work of Jewish literature. It's called Bread Givers by Anzia Yezierska, which has to do with an Orthodox Jewish woman who is the daughter of an Orthodox rabbi. Her name is Sarah Smolinski, and Sarah saw her sisters get married off to men that were approved by her father because, according to him, women can only live through men. But Sarah wants to live the life that she feels she wants to live. She wants to be able to make her own choices. She wants to be able to marry for love and not for a livelihood. She feels that she needs to live the life she was meant to live. And I'm really interested to read this book and see what it's all about. Next thing I got was in Persuasion Nation, short stories by George Saunders. I picked up 10th of December. I read the Semplica Girl Diaries, based off of Adriana Dalton from Strip Covered Lit's recommendation. I'm so convinced by the talent that George Saunders has that I'm planning to start a collection of his short story collections. And I found in Persuasion Nation at the Bookworm, and I decided to pick it up. The last thing I got on that particular visit to the Bookworm is the collected stories of Isaac Bashevis Singer, and this has to do, this particular collection includes the short stories of the Polish-Jewish Nobel Prize-winning short story writer who was known for tales like Gimple the Fool. He wrote about the supernatural as well as tales about livelihood in Poland, specifically in Warsaw. Really interested to see the stories that this collection has to offer. And here is everything that I got on my visit to the Bookworm. On my most recent visit to the Bookworm, I picked up 4 books, all of which were works of fiction, and the first of which was the sequel to Blindness. It's called Seeing by Jose Saramago, which I heard a lot of great things about Blindness, and while I have yet to read it, I feel that I would definitely pick up Seeing afterward. We'll have to see what my thoughts are when I get to Blindness, but I tend to collect books, even if they're part of a series, even if I did not complete the entire series. And so I decided to check this out and see what this will have to offer. Next thing that I got was My Name is Asher Lev by Chaim Potok. I currently own The Chosen and I Am the Clay, and now I have My Name is Asher Lev. This particular novel is about about the title character who is a Hasidic Jew living in post-World War II Brooklyn, and he wants to be an artist, which anything that goes against the strict traditions of Hasidicism is frowned upon in this particular society. And so this particular novel explores the challenges that Asher Lev has to face when wanting to follow a different path than the traditional one, and a strictly traditional one. Really interested to see what it has to offer. Next thing I got was the Fairytales of Franz Xavar von Schonwerth, which this is the very first time where these particular tales are translated into English from the German, because he was from Bavaria. The translation is from Maria Tatar. And I'm really curious to see what this particular collection of fairy tales has to offer, because I'm always curious to pick up a piece of different cultures through the tales that they told. And the last thing that I got was a short story collection called The Question of Bruno, which are stories by Aleksandar Hemon, who is from Sarajevo. He came to America as an adult. First time I came across Hemon was through his editing for the best European fiction of insert the year. It started in 2010, and I'm pretty sure he did the first 4 anthologies, which quite amazing to have someone from each European country contribute a short story. And I'm interested to read the particular stories that he's written, and a lot of which were inspired by events from his very own life. And this is everything I got on the most recent visit to the Bookworm. Thank you for tuning in to this book haul. I am definitely planning to pay more visits to the Bookworm in Surf City, New Jersey. Thank you for tuning into this video, and as always, in addition to encouraging you to keep shopping for books, I encourage you to keep reading as well.